Good morning, everyone. Well, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it might be over there. Okay, all right. Okay, I think, guys, we're back in town. Let's go begin. Okay, I can see we got, well, it looks like we actually still got a couple more who need to join. But still, that's fine. They're just going to have to catch up later. So let's go and continue. So, guys, yesterday, and yes, I'm going to share my screen. Show screen. Ta-da! Okay, can you just put your, guys, can you just put your hands up to let me know you can see my screen? Thank you, Carla. Yeah, so just to be clear over here, right? So we're going to go try and get through the last little bits of iVend today, and once we've done that, then well, that should be it. I'll have some time open for questions at the end, if there are any. Once again, if there are any questions, just stick up your hand, type it into the question box, and I will answer it as soon as possible. Yeah, and we will continue from there. All right, so yesterday, sorry, I'm just going to put your hand down, and here we go. Yesterday, we completed business transactions, we've done inventory, and we've done business partners, which, to be very honest, is actually the majority of probably most of what we're really looking at for iVend. There are some other things that we are going to be looking at as we go through this. These do include things. Well, these do include some other transactions. Loyalty is going to take up a fair bit of time today, but today we are actually going to be looking at one of the more important points for shoppers out there. And that is your bonus buys. Now, we finished off yesterday, just starting looking at price lists and special price lists. But today we're going to go finish that up along with gift certificates and loyalty. Then we'll do till management end of day and also have a quick look at reports. And that should take us to the end of the time we have, unless there are any questions about anything else. So let's go over here to bonus buys. Now, just to go and give you an idea about how bonus buys work is, I have my, here we go, Q standard example. Now, my standard example is 109, enter, and this is going to go through and scan. Once it scans, it goes and it picks up, and it says, I've triggered the buy X, get 50% off on Y discount type. Now, you can don't worry, you don't need to give it that name. You can give it another name, but you'll over here I get the option of one of three. I can get one of these three beautiful items. It could be a woman's champagne suit, store gift card, or a men's Adidas running shirt. So let's go over here. We'll pick the woman's one because that's just slightly clearer in the way it's going to show. And you instantly see that it turns purple. Sweet. Now, as we go through and I complete the cash payment to do the sale, there we go, cash, yeah, we're just going to do that. Then what we're going to do, as soon as that's complete, there we go. Okay, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go to my transaction search, and I just want to go bring up that last sale. And in fact, I don't even need to go to my transaction search. If I want to, I can go over here, and we've got our first question of the day. Okay, how can we set it up in the system to avoid to apply some coupons on a transaction with different promotional items? Okay, Carla, good news is if I've got a coupon, it will stop the promotion from triggering. Okay, there. So it really depends on how you apply it. If you apply the coupon first, it'll stop the promotion. If you apply the promotion, then it will effectively stop the coupon. So you can do it that way. There is a setup that I will show you in a second to how you can actually do that. There is another setup deeper in the system that I have kind of glossed over because it's something you really shouldn't mess with that we can actually change. That would maybe change how things look. But I will show you that in a minute how that works. So what I can do over here is let's go and scan in this code over here, which is, if I have a look, there, that is my normal code. I scan that. That's my transaction number. I can scan that, and you'll see over here it actually brings it up as purple to go and indicate that it has actually been applied in the system, which does mean that you are looking at, which does mean that if somebody comes and says, hey, I didn't get my discount, you can say, no, but we can see over here you did. You see, the system, it knows. Or if they do, or on the other side, they might come and go say, I didn't get my discount. And you say, oh, let me just check. Oh, you did not get your discount. Oh, so sorry. Let's go and let's process that for you. So that gives you the options over there directly right away for it, which is very nice. That's why I like to have the color, because the color really makes it pop. So now, how do we set this up? Well, we go over here to Management Console. And this is one of the reasons I recommend having the DemoStack set up on your machine. Primarily because there are some areas of iVend that you might have seen that are, it's not always precisely intuitive about how everything gets set up. And the DemoStack has got a lot of setups that we've done, a lot of tricks that we've kind of learned along the way about how to set up things. And particularly when it comes to promotions. Promotions is an area that, to be very honest, I've seen all sorts of promotions. I really, you go and you see them come from all angles, all sides. Everybody does them in some way, shape, or form, and everybody's trying to go, and it's the nature of retail. Everybody wants to go give the impression that they are their promotions are somehow better, and you are now going and you are now saving more money if you buy from them than if you buy from the person across the street who might have a slightly different promotion. Now, particularly when it gets to things like footwear, I've seen a lot of really weird promotions. You know, buy anything from category A and buy from these two categories, and we'll split the difference to go and give you a promotional amount of X. And yes, we were eventually able to go and make that one work, but it was a headache. It took me about a day or two to go figure that one out, but that's the thing. And instead of going and having to take a day or two to go figure out this stuff, a lot of the times, if you just, in fact, had I looked through the bonus buys, one or two of the bonus buys would have really helped me. And once I figured out that little hot tip, I went and I actually did it and thought, hey, okay. It took me actually about half an hour once I actually started looking through this stuff. But that's the reason to install the DemoStack. There's a batch of things that DemoStack comes with that if we've got a bit of time, I will show you a bit later. But the big thing about it is that the DemoStack gives you these ones. You can see how they work, and you can say, oh, is that what that thing does? Okay, all right, and then it will make more sense to you. Trust me, in some ways that's actually handier than actually having somebody show you how to do it, because at least it allows you to go and actually figure it out for yourself, and you can actually get things to work properly. Though combined with somebody showing you how to do it on the videos is also priceless. So code description, applicable subsidiary, is it active or not? And then the promotion types. There are two types of promotions. I will come to the second type a bit later, which is fixed price. For the moment, we're looking at the bonus buy promotion. Now, typically a bonus buy is a buy this, get that free. Also known as I've also heard it called as a bog off promotion. Yeah, I'm not actually swearing at you. It's a bog off, buy one, get one free. Okay. But with this, effective dates, so from this date to that date, effective times from this time to that time. So yes, you can actually set it in from 12 o'clock on Friday to 9 o'clock at night on Sunday. This promotion will run. Okay. Minimum bill amount, you must spend this amount to trigger this promotion. Bill quantity, you must buy this many items, and then the promotion will trigger. Discount type, and this discount type over here is for the overall promotion, such as these minimum bill amounts and bill quantities. If you're going to set it up per items, you then go to setup, but for the moment it's just minimum bill amount, bill quantity, discount type, and discount percentage. And then there's maximum redemption count per store. So first however many pass the till can get the promotion. Then there is can you repeat in transaction. By the way, maximum redemption count per store, Apple did that exceptionally well. You know, so, oh no, this store only has this many iPhones. After that, no. Can you repeat it in a transaction? So can it go more, with it repeating? For instance, I can go say, yes, you can repeat it twice. So you can only buy this one twice at the promoted amount. And yes, that is actually kind of important because one of the stories I do actually have on this is what happened is with, and I know several retailers who have done this because they are that way inclined. Yeah, this does actually happen in the liquor trade quite a bit. What happened was one of the liquor retailers, they, not a wholesaler actually, they got they were big enough to get a direct promotion from the manufacturers themselves. One of these, I think it was a brewery or, I can't remember. Well, I can't say too much more because otherwise ears may hear this later down the line. But anyway, so what happened is one of these big retailers, they got a big discount to go and promote. I think it was brandy or something like that, direct from the manufacturer, from the distiller. And so when they set out, they put up big promotional campaigns. La 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 la! We have this now only $9.99. Incredible price. $9.99 for brandy is just ridiculously cheap. So for that brandy, it was really ridiculously cheap. And then what happened is one of their competitors saw, $9.99. Well, if we buy it from our distributors, we're actually paying, our cost is $9.99. So rather than us going to our distributors, we're gonna go to our competitors, buy out all their product, and then we'll sell it at a slight markup. And that's what they did. So they quite literally got every truck they could. They didn't obviously go up in their own branded trucks, but they got their employees to go along in like white trucks, and they went in and they said, I want to buy, how many cases of this do you have? I'll buy them all. Okay, and they did that. And then they went and took it back to their shops, and then they put on their own promotion at, I think they sold like 110 Rand, which was still ridiculously cheap. Right, for that specific product. So people do that. This way, at least you can go and make it, you see, this way over here, you at least make it not worth their time. And that's really what this does over there for that story. So as it's all very well, you're going to try to buy up everyone, but if you have to keep on going back and buy for the promotion to work, then yeah, it does cause problems. But look, there's ways around anything, but that just makes it a little bit more difficult. Next one is promotion is lowest value, so it doesn't go on the lowest value item. So if you're discounting a batch of items, which item does the promotion go on? Does it exclude pre-discounted items? This is kind of what I was referring to earlier with the coupon. So you buy something, you scan the coupon. It says this coupon applies to this item and it's discounted. Okay, that's wonderful. Now you don't get the promotion. Does it apply on item scan or not? And the reason this one is quite important because what you can get is, for instance, a buy 3, get 1 free, or you can do a buy 5, get 2 free. So buy 3 of item A, well, let's say buy 3 cans of Coke, get a free, buy 3 2 liters of Coke, get a free bottle of brandy. We'll carry on with the liquor example. Or buy 5 bottles of Coke and get 2 bottles of brandy, right? 2 free bottles of brandy. Now, the problem is the way iVend will automatically apply it is if it's on item scan, I type in the number, right? And once over here, it goes and it hits the minimum number for one of those, it's going to trigger. So for instance, over here, the minimum number this requires is 1 for it to trigger. And in the example I just gave, the first number it's always going to hit is 3. Well, the first number it's probably going to hit is 3. The reason for that being you're going to scan it in 3 times. The person's just going to pick up the scanner and go click, 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 and then it's going to go trigger the 3 promotion first. It's not going to go trigger the 5 promotion. So to stop that, you can then go uncheck this box over here. And then once you've scanned in, then and you need to do that for both promotions. Well, you need to do it for the 3 promotion. You could carry on for the 5 promotion. So what happens is that when everything's scanned in, then when I click payments or cash or whatever it is, it's then going to go and say, ha-ha, well, it's going to do a final check on promotions. And then it's going to go load it into the system. So, and then it's going to go load it in and it will apply that. So just be aware that that is something that you can do there. And that's very handy specifically when you're trying to diagnose how these work, because as you probably guessed, you can actually have promotional pile-up, where all of a sudden you get promotions on top of promotions on top of promotions that cause all promotions to stop working. Well, not all of them stop working, but causes them to work in funny ways against each other. So just be aware of that. There are some tools that you can use to go fix that. First one over here, next up is the promotional color. This is the color that I'm using over there. You see these white blocks over here? If I go and I right click on one of them, then we get multiple colors. There's like 65,000 colors in here. Yeah, that's a lot of promotions. To be honest, that's probably more than we'd really support. Once you start getting to more than about 50 promotions, then it's going to cause issues. Then finally, apply once, which means that it only applies 1 per customer, or 1 per registered customer, I should say. So that's also an option there. After that, you can also go set where it's applicable. So which days of the week, which times of the days of the week. Okay, so you can effectively have what a happy hour special would be the example. One of the things you can do with this is, with the happy hour special, is you can go say, okay, from between 1 and 2, come and buy something from us and get a coupon for a free coffee, as an example, or get a gift certificate, or get a something. That you can go and apply. You can apply over here. I've seen that actually does happen with some of the spas out here, because they do have attached, and now it seems to be a big thing, is that they have this attached bean tree coffee shop. And it just, to be honest, it does actually help because, hey, if I'm going to get a coffee, well, might get a donut or a cookie, or maybe I want to upgrade from just a coffee to a cappuccino or something like that. So that is over there, and yeah, there we go. We will get, sorry, forgot to go turn that off so we don't get binged every half an hour, every 30 seconds. So anyway, so that is something that you can put in there. Next up is customer special days, and you can have quite a few of these, but customer special days are something that I've mentioned when we're going through business partners, but it's also something that we do get when we go to, that we do get a lot more of in loyalty. But they appear over here, and they are quite important. The entire idea of a customer special day is you get 2 types. You get birthday and anniversary. Those are recorded in the actual customer master over here. And what you can do is you can say what your duration is, and it could be anything for a month, for days, weeks, month, or days backwards and forwards. And what we mean by days backwards and forwards is you can go say is that 2 days before and 1 day after your birthday, you still get the promotion. The reason for this is depending on the business you're in. You don't always get that. You can't always make time to say, oh my God, it's my birthday. I've got to get off and I've got to do this. And then there's a party. And then I missed the day I could get the promotion. So rather with this, you can actually go say, hey, look, we know it's your birthday. You can send out a mail saying, we know it's your birthday in 2 days. Right. Come stop right there. Stop in a shop with us to get a promotional item. It also depends on depends on the type of industry you're in. For instance, electronics, and also your jewelry. Well, I should say your high-end retail goods would be the industry that this would normally pick up at, because then you can for instance, you could get your significant other, whoever they may be, they can say, aha, well, you've got this, well, I'll just go buy it on your account, at which point I will get the discount to buy your birthday gift. So congratulations there. You do that same thing with the anniversary. So you can go, because on your anniversary day, to be very honest, most people don't, people fall into two camps with anniversaries. They generally, either they're going to buy something on the day or they're going to buy something before. And typically most people on their anniversary date want something there for their significant other when they wake up in the morning. So for an anniversary, going and saying, yeah, come in 2 days beforehand, and then you can go and buy one, come in 2 days beforehand, and then you can, and you know, you can get that special gift for your anniversary. So that can be set there. Next, after that, we've got stores. You can say which stores it's applicable at and which loyalty levels. Now, we'll get more into loyalty levels a bit later, but you can also go say this only applies to our platinum level customers or whatever, or our gold level customers or whatever they might be. After that, okay, I'm going to come back to exclusion list, serial and batch details, but after we go to setup. Now, setups over here is where we actually get everything, where we actually figure out how everything works. Now, the first line over here is what do you buy? So what do you trigger the promotion on? And I can go say, I can add as many buy items as I want. And they don't just need to be buy a product. They can also be a product group. Can also be a product category. Yes, please, Sage guys, if there are any in the audience, please, particularly the Sage 300 guys, please remember, iVend uses product groups as a primary group and product category as a secondary group. So, right, do not get that confused. That seems to be the big thing most Sage guys get confused with when they are, particularly when they're writing the exam. From there, you can go say, well, what product group or what item or what product category it is. You can say which unit of measure it is. You can say which quantity it is. You can say what amount you need to buy. So I can say, I need to buy 4 of these, or maybe not 14, 4 of these. There we go. I need to buy 4 of these, and then this triggers. Or I need to go and, or I can just leave it as straight 1, and I can say you need to spend 500 Rand on this. So effectively with the 500 Rand, what it means is that I'm going to have to buy like 4 or 5 of these for it to go kick over to say 500 Rand. But once it kicks over to 500 Rand, it will trigger. Right? That's you're essentially telling it what to look at. Are you looking at the amount that a person is buying, or you're looking at the quantity that a person is buying? And finally, is it mandatory? And you can actually uncheck these. So you can say, buy any of these 2 items plus another 1 of these items, and you can set that over here. So is another 1 or is another 2 of these other optional items, and then the promotion kicks in. So yes, you can actually get fairly complex with this. So after that, we can then add things like your get items in, and the get items work in a fairly similar way. Now, by the way, before I get to the get items, one thing I want to point out is that there is an all category here, and I will show you how that works in a minute when we get to one of the other bonus bars I want to show you, because the all category is quite important. Okay, so on the get products, now I can go say, what exactly do you get? Is it going to be a product? Is it going to be a gift card? Is it going to be loyalty points? Is it going to be product, product group, product category, coupon, or gift card? So those are my options there. And we'll see coupons and loyalty points, well, coupons sooner than loyalty points, but we'll see those in a minute. The entire idea with this is that you can go and actually set what you want. And I can also say, what is your get optional count? So how many of these do you get? So like you saw earlier when I scanned it in, when I scanned this in over here, all right, let me just go show you. Let me just show you. You see when I scan it in, it goes and asks me how many do I want. It'll say the required count and the balance count. So once I select something, it's then going to say, well, okay, you've now selected one of those, or two of those, or however much there is, and it'll tell you how much you have remaining. Right. So, but this is all can be set here. And you can also set how much you want, and you'll see over here you can set it per unit of measure. So with unit of measure, you can say you have to buy 6 packs of Coke, and then it will trigger. Or, well, 6 packs of whatever it might be, then it will trigger. Or whatever, or you have to buy a case, or you have to buy it in the pallet format, and that's where the barcodes come in. Afterwards, you need to go do quantities. So how many of those do you need to buy? Then discount type, is it discounts or percentages, or is it just amounts? So you can do discount or amount. And then is it mandatory or show the prompt? Now, the mandatory one over here means what it means is it mandatory to scan both items. Because what you could have is, I'm just going to select that and click OK. What you could have is I scan the one item, and then when I scan the second item, in fact, I think I've got one of those over here, 105. Let's try that. Put that in again. There you go. So you see when I scan the second item, it then triggered over to this, and I've triggered up buy X, get 25% off of group of X. So that's another one that's been triggered over there. Unfortunately, it's in the same color, which is not exactly helpful for my case, but well, helpful for me to show it to you. But that is another way to do it. Well, actually, there is a very simple way I can show it to you very quickly. Is 100, 105. There. Okay, so that is now. Okay. So there you go, and you see that's now gone. I've scanned it, but when I scanned it in the second time, then it's when it triggered. So in that particular case, that would be a mandatory scan that needs to happen there. Now, of course, the next question I normally get is, but Keith, what happens if I want the item to automatically appear there? I don't just want it to be a pop-up. I don't want it to be a pop-up. I don't want to have them to scan. I don't want them to have to scan it twice because the person might have forgotten to pick up the other item that makes up the combo, and I just want it to appear there automatically. Well, good news is that's where your upsell comes in. With your upsell, you can actually have the line automatically appear there. So that once again is up to you. We have options. So after that, and that's just one way to go show how that works. After that, you can also go use your exclusion list. So you can go say, for instance, we're selling all Apple products are on discount except the latest iPhones or things from a product group. And this is where the product group and product category can actually become a bit of a matrix that I referred to yesterday, because you can say, we're selling all Apple items and have Apple as a group. And then you can say, yes, but we're excluding all earbuds, right? Excluding the product category earbuds, which means that you can actually say, okay, it's all Apple items except the earbuds, or the, whatever they call them, earbuds, right? Earbud, just think of that Golden Retriever film. Anyway, but you get the idea, is that you do that and it automatically goes and it automatically does that there. After that, you can then add in your customer groups. Okay, so you can actually then, so like the earlier example, hey, you're a competitor of ours. Well, add in customer group competitors. Yep, that way they do not get the discount. So once again, you do actually have to have the competitor go and actually be recognized as there is some way that the system needs to recognize it, so the competitor would have to go scan in a card or something like that for that. But still, that's bonus buys. Like I said, I would show you the fixed price one, which is over here. Now the fixed price option is slightly different in its setup. And okay, to show you exactly what the story is over here, because this has actually got two things I want to show you. First off, the fixed price item. Okay, right there. I scan in this item with a quantity of 5, and it will give me the item at a fixed price. which is, yeah, I think I need to update the prices on this thing because that is just ridiculously cheap. And so the way that this would work is, let me see that, 100, 127. 127, there we go. Right, SanDisk memory card. There you go, and then it triggered. Okay, and then it's in a nice different color, so we can actually go see it as something a bit different. So that's now gone and triggered over there. And the important thing to note about that is you can set your buy products to all, and then the actual product you're going to get is down here. Now, what that means is that if it's a case of buy 5 of these items and then it triggers, this is the way you set it up. And once again, this is the reason why I say you guys should have your demo stacks installed on your machines. If you do not have them installed on your machines, that can cause issues. Sorry guys, I'll deal with that later. Let me once again just make sure that we got that everything on. Yeah, had everything else on silent but that. Okay, but still, that's the important thing to note over here. Your buy products are set here, and your get products you can go and have, well, with your buy products you can have an all option, which means it will trigger only on the get products. The get product essentially becomes the get item, and it will have a discount put against it. So once again, put in your demo stack. It will help. Trust me, it will help on this. Finally, you can also do serial numbers if it is a serial numbered item, and you can also do batch numbers if it is a batch numbered item. Very handy, specifically on the serial number side. If, once again, as you've guessed, I've done a fair number of electronic stores. With the electronics, and you do see this, they go, typically they've got a table, or they'll have a big sale saying shop soiled items, or whatever the case is. And with that, they then go and they put all the shop, they will then go say, this item has been used in the store. Okay, so obviously it's had things like trolleys banging into it, or otherwise, you know, stuff got dropped on it, or it's not exactly being kept in pristine condition. Or let's say if it's a fridge, when they broke a shelf. Or if it's a TV, they've now gone and they've had it displaying for 8 days, well, not 8 days, for 7 days a week, for, you know, 6 months, which is obviously going to take time off the LCD panel and time off the LCD panel, time off the LCD backlight. All that stuff is going to cause issues. So because of that, you want to say, look, we're selling you this item. It's shop soiled. It is used. You can't, it's not the same as a new item. That's why you're getting a good price on this item. And you can go say it's for this specific serial number, which means that it will automatically pick up and say, oh, this item has got this item at this price. Now, the other side of this is unfortunately that what people will inevitably try and do is say, hey, I bought this item and it's only here, and actually I'm just trying to go sneak a new one out of the back, you know, because people do that. Trust me, they do. Right, so that is over there. That is our bonus buys setup. Now, one thing I talked about earlier was a bonus buy pile up, which can happen because you go and you get your bonus buys conflicting with each other in certain ways, which is once again an excellent reason to go and have a demo stack so that you can actually go test out the bonus buys. Because I know what happens with, every consultant I've ever taught does this, unless they have experience with bonus buys, in which case they don't. But most consultants I know do this, is when they first set up their first bonus buy, they go through and they tick, oh, no, well, we just go and we tick this and we do that and we set up everything, and then they get along to the point of sale and nothing works. So my advice, when you're setting up bonus buys, set up the bare minimum that you need to do and make sure that it triggers. Once it triggers, you can then start to go muck around with it and say, okay, all right, well, what if we change the effective date and time? What if we change the applicable level that it's at, the special date, the whatever? Once you do that, once you have it working, then you can mess with it. That's my advice. But what will happen is inevitably you will end up with a bonus bar pile-up. And then you're going to have to go, and particularly the one I described earlier with the 5 Cokes and the 2 brandies and the 3 Cokes and the 1 brandy. In which case, you actually want to go set up your bonus bars hierarchy. Now, what your bonus bars hierarchy is a way to go and set up all of your, set up everything so that it will work through the system, and it will figure out which, bonus bar you should use at which point in the system. So that's why you'll go use it for the example. Okay. You can also go and adjust where they are, where they fit in, how they fit in, what they do. This is what the up, down, first, last is. So I can set that to be the first one. I can also set it to be the last one. I can go tell it to go up. I can also tell it to go down. And get the blinky blue light to go do stuff on the screen. It's amazing. If you really want to, well, you could almost make a game out of it. Still, onwards and upwards. So the next thing we're looking at is coupons. Now, coupons is, to be very honest, I find it to be a very country subjective thing. In America, it is huge, primarily because you can go and write off your coupon spending. It allows you to basically write it off as an expense. There's a tax dodge that goes with it. Essentially, and when you've got $1 billion advertising budget, yeah, you can put out your coupons and then write off a whole batch of them. And even if people don't use them, well, that's still money that got used for coupons. And it's you can claim back on it, apparently, or dodge tax somehow. So in America, coupons are huge. Quite literally, I remember I saw one paper over there that it almost looked like a really thick novel. And actually, once we actually got through it and figured out what actually was the newspaper and what was coupons, you ended up with like maybe 50 pages, well, maybe 30 to 50 pages of newspaper, which was still pretty big. But the rest of it was just coupons, which must have been easily about another 400 pages. So, yeah, coupons. You can make a lot of money on them. In fact, I believe there's a show on one of the DSTV channels, Coupon Wars or something like that, where you can actually see people going head-to-head trying to go save as much money with coupons as possible. Having said that, worldwide and other places, they are not really that widely used. So having said that, we do coupons. Typically, you can also go and adjust exactly how they go and they work. You can put in a UPC code. So for instance, so let me just go scan an item. I do have one over there. And if I go and I scan in this UPC code, right, that'll then give you a 10% discount. That can be applied. Start date, end date, can it be triggered multiple times? So yes. You see? Do you really want to do that? And you can see it going and working its way down as it puts a less and less discount on. But you can have it trigger multiple times. Most coupons I see out here in South Africa are not trigger multiple. They are trigger once. 10% off on this item only once. Because I don't, normally as part of this, I would actually show you a video when we get to, I'll show you 2 videos when we get to the loyalty side, but unfortunately I can't do that. I'll give you the links to the videos, however, and they're very interesting examples about how coupons and loyalty went, well, disastrously wrong in some ways. One of which is a guy ended up suing Pepsi for a Harrier jump jet. Yeah, that did actually happen. And another one was how a guy managed to get infinite air miles for life from coupons. Yeah, so there are those things there. There's things that do happen out there. And no, they are not just tall tales that you read on an internet article one time at a dodgy website or got mailed around as they used to back in the day. These ones actually do work. Well, these ones actually did work. They've since closed the loopholes. Right. So next up, minimum order quantity or minimum order value, minimum redemption number per store. How many can you redeem? What is your minimum order quantity? So how much do you need to have in order for it to trigger? Redeem once per customer, yes, no. Coupon report. The coupon report here is linked to an actual normal report printout that you can adjust. Trigger quantity and applicable quantity. So what does it trigger on and what does it apply to? What is your discount type? Percentages, and can you also issue it at POS, and can you print it at the POS? So effectively that means that if I trigger a promotion that gives me a coupon, it will then print the coupon as part of the print layout. Does it link through to iVend passes, which I'm going to try to squeak through to today. iVend passes is can take a bit of time. Is it serial controlled or serial option? iVend passes, by the way, there are videos on it, so I'm not too worried about that. And then what items do you get coupons on? So which you can do products, product groups, product categories, right there, head again, manufacturers, because sometimes manufacturers put coupons out there that you then need to claim back from them as a store. So yes, which customer groups, delete conditions, and then the applicable. So where is it applicable? Which stores? This should look familiar by now. And then you can finally print coupons if you want to. Product gross margin. Now, what this allows us to do is to actually, I think we touched on this in the actual product itself, but what I'm going to do over here is I'm just going to quickly set one up. And what this allows you to do is to actually calculate and set up a, let me see, we need a price list. Yes, we do need a price list. Here we go, price list. Okay, there we go. So once we got that, you can then set up how it, you can set up some rounding. You can also set up how it exactly does round up, does round down, where does the rounding go, and exactly does it go change the prices. This allows you to go and change and adjust the price to go see exactly what your gross margins are on your different prices that you're selling at. What the markup is, what your current cost is. Once again, we'll do that, and then everything kind of fits. So for instance, on the men's solid polo, we can see the current cost. You can then start to do things like a what if cost. So what if it raised to $15, and you can see what the price is, coefficient, your suggested price, and your rounded price. So those are there. You can adjust. Obviously, there's more to it, but once again, guys, on this timeline, there's a video. Next up, beyond that, we also have Price Manager. And what this allows us to do is go and copy one price list to another. Guys, I am just going to warn you on this, is that, to be very honest, when we're integrated to an ERP, the ERP does this. We generally pull the prices from the ERP because that's where most people maintain the prices. Yeah, makes... well, kind of makes sense. So I can go say I want to change price list 8, and I'm going to base it off price list 1, and I also need to say which store this will impact. There we go. And then I go and I can say adjust it, and I can say I want to add an amount of $10 to all items, and I can do with rounding, and then it will go give me my suggested price and how that should look. Once again, there's a video on this, guys. You just go look at that and you'll see more about how this works. But it does work. You can copy one price to another. Once again, it's only really available on iVend Unplugged, and the other ones, it's normally just pulled through from the ERP. The ERP does, they generally, ERP's got some other, normally have got some other options with the way that they go and they change around the prices. All right, so that does pricing and promotions, but then we move on to gift certificates, which are different than coupons. Now, gift certificates, we've actually got two types, and they are actually quite important. First one is your standard, is your bog standard common or garden gift certificate, which is a gift certificate that you sell for a gift. Yeah, we do have full gift certificate functionality. Yes, I can go redeem from one, sell from one door and redeem it another, from one store and redeem at another store. All right, they can even put in groups and prices and what sort of type is it? Is it system generated? Is it pre-printed? Or is it user-defined? Now, that is something you will need to be aware of when you actually do this, because system generated is probably going to be the safest. It automatically generates its own gift certificate number. And that means that people aren't going to be writing it out, or they're not going to be trying to steal the pre-printed ones. Now, the user-defined, somebody actually goes and types in the number of the gift certificate, which is less good, I should say. The problem is that it's less good because people do. You'd be amazed. Some people can't remember their own cell phone numbers, but they can sure remember a gift certificate number because, hey, they know that gift certificate's got 1,000 Rand on it, and they're going to go get a piece of that. So, but on the other hand, you also get pre-generated or pre-printed gift certificates, which you really need to keep an eye on because those become like money. Essentially they are money for your store. Now, with iVend, you can't just go steal a pile of pre-printed gift certificates and walk out the door and give it to a friend and have them come back in and spend it. The gift certificates need to be activated. Once the gift certificate is activated, then you can spend it. But that doesn't stop people trying. And certainly in some of the other POS systems I've seen, they would just say, well, the gift certificate's here. It's there. It's a gift certificate. Or what would more or less happen is somebody goes and says to the manager, hey, this gift certificate isn't working for some reason. Oh, I'll just authorize. Here you go. Well, meanwhile, it's a gift certificate that was never sold. So it is like money. I do have stories about that, but we are running on in time. Next up is a big check mark, which is user store credit, which I am seeing a lot of places do these days. Do you use gift certificates as store credit or not? The reason for that is people generally, as stores actually, most of the stores have figured out that, hey, we could give people back money, or we could give them back a gift certificate. And if we give them back a gift certificate, they have to spend the money with us, as opposed to spending the money somewhere else. Now, of course, there are circumstances and people will yell loudly enough that they're going to go say, well, it's just not worth going and having you around. It's just not worth going and, I don't actually want, if that's the way you feel, I don't want your money, take it, go away. But with store gift certificate, at least gives you an option, an intermediate option over there. Validity period, how many days is it valid for? Typically about 180, I find is about the norm, but it can be adjusted as you want. Do you get cash back? Is it on hold? Is there a specific UPC code? So if I scan in the UPC code, it'll pick it up. Price override, so can you change the price? And open price, open description. The reason for these is that if little old granny wants to come in and say, oh, well, I just want to buy Timmy a gift certificate. Okay. All right, so you go and you get a gift certificate, and you can open up the price, and she will say, oh, I want 230 Rand for some weird reason. Old lady reasons, I guess, and then she also wants to go open the description, and in the description she wants to go say, happy birthday, Timmy, love from Grandma. So you can do that as well. Does it connect through to an iVend pass? And also, must you swipe the card to activate it? I see today a lot of places are actually switching towards your plastic gift certificate cards because they are more secure than the old paper ones. So we do support that. Do you print the gift certificate? And do you reprint on redemption? What is the minimum amount for reprinting? To explain, with gift certificates, a lot of places go say, you need to, when you spend the gift certificate, you spend the whole certificate. You don't spend part of the certificate. But what we can do now, and what is gaining favor, is people want to come in and say, yeah, look, I got this gift certificate from work, but I only really want a coffee from you guys. I don't want to, it's 1,000 Rand gift certificate. I just want a coffee. Okay, that's fine. Then you can spend it, and you can buy the coffee, and off you go, and it will reissue the gift certificate with 990 Rand, or however much it cost for the coffee, deducted from the 1,000 Rand amount. And then you can also say there's a minimum amount for reprinting. So after however many coffees you've had, if it's 10 Rand a coffee, it's got to be a while, then you can get down to your minimum amount for reprinting. And then you can say, aha, well, I'm going to reprint. Okay, well, we're not going to reprint if there's, say, 5 Rand on there. it's not worth it. Okay, so you can say, no reprint, sorry, you know, R5 got eaten as admin fees. And that's what you can set there. So yes, that is available. The store credit one is set up much the same way. It's just user defined and it is a store credit. It also generally has a zero base price, and you can also set your validity period. So yeah, those are the other things that go there. Gift certificate receipt. This typically only happens with your pre-printed gift certificates. Same thing with stock transfer and stock transfer shipment and receipt. These only really happen with your pre-printed gift certificates because, once again, they are like money. And finally, expired gift certificate. And with integrated systems, typically what happens is gift certificates get the money that came from gift certificates gets posted to or it's meant to be posted to a suspense account because the person hasn't spent the money yet. It's there in essentially escrow, just waiting for people to go and use it. But then if the person doesn't use it within the time period, the money then becomes yours. So we have this report over here, and it will list all the gift certificates that have expired. And then you can go say, yes, I'm going to expire these ones, and post entries. And then it will expire them in iVend, but it will also, through the integration, generally it triggers a journal entry to go move the value of the expired gift certificates from the suspense account to the from the suspense to the revenue account, because it has now become just, hey, money in the bank, incoming cash. Okay. Loyalty. Yeah, well, guys, we're going to be lightning in this one because, yeah, this could take time. Okay, but loyalty, we've got a fully integrated loyalty system. This system does not, it's not like a lot of other systems out there where they say, yeah, we're integrated to a loyalty system. Yeah, wonderful. What happens if the store, for instance, let's just go, that's what I'm looking for. So what happens if the store, there we go. So what happens if the store goes and actually says, oh no, we're offline, and you're trying to redeem your gift certificate? Yeah, no, that doesn't work. With us, because it's embedded, you can still redeem gift certificates. Loyalty is still available. That's actually one of the settings that we're going to have a look at with the loyalty program. Now, you can have as many loyalty programs as you want. Typically, you would actually have quite a few loyalty programs, specifically if you're operating in different countries, because the base of the loyalty program for us is the actual currency of the country. That's something that you can go and that's something that you can set, that you can set per subsidiary. And the big thing is with that, because it actually has a monetary value, that does actually mean, oh no, these points are actually worth something. And with this, you can actually you'll actually see that one of the things we can do is, do you award points or do you award currency? Those are two options that do get set up in here. It also means that, and that's also precisely the reason that we don't do across countries typically. Well, unless they're using the same, unless they're in a place like Europe where everyone's using the euro, because, yeah, €1 is €1. Surprise. So it doesn't matter whether you spend it in France, Ireland, or Italy, a euro is a euro. So, yeah, that's also something to just be aware of. The other side of it is that if that's the case, if that's the case that you're dealing with two different currencies, and you do provide points across two countries, you can also get into what's called triangle trading, which is playing essentially three currencies off against each other and the fluctuations in order to make money. And that's yeah. Look, if you see these ads online. You see every while YouTube or one of these places does this binary options or IQ options or FX or whatever it's called. You're going to see them pop up. Get rich by trading options. Make money while you make money from your while playing this game. Yeah, no, scam. Yeah, and that's also kind of what they do. They do triangle trading. Look, there's nothing illegal about it. And yes, don't get me wrong, you can make tons of money if you're really, really good. Because you're competing with you're competing with everybody else out there, and they've made it very easy to get into the market. So, but that's besides the point. The entire point is that we don't do that, so you don't have to do that, so you don't have to worry about it. So for us over here, applicable subsidiary, what is your registration method? And we've got 3 registration methods. Once again, I'm going to turn to the help because I actually list them here. First one is customer code. Now, you might not want to use this for your loyalty because a customer code generally, when it integrates through to from iVend to the ERP, the customer code will actually generate a debtor. And if you really want your debtors book to go out of control, yeah, that can do it. So I don't necessarily recommend that way. The other one is loyalty card, which is just a self-contained loyalty card. That stays in iVend, and that doesn't actually really trigger too much. And then finally, loyalty card attached to a customer code. And the entire idea with this is that you can have multiple loyalty cards attached to a customer code. So you can actually have a loyalty customer, but then multiple loyalty cards attached to the customer code. So that is a way to do it as well. Card management, user-defined, pre-printed, and system generated are the 3 that are available. They work much the same way as I described in the gift certificate side, except the pre-printed loyalty cards just get receipted in. You see we've got a transaction here that does that. Level allocation, there's essentially 2 ways that this is managed, but because we handle points and currency, it's handled 4 ways here. So is it total available points or total awarded points? It depends on how you want to go and run your loyalty. Once again, guys, videos, they do cover them in greater depth online. Is this the default loyalty program or not? Award points on registration or currency on registration. So I sign up, I get 50 points or whatever it might be, however much that might be worth. Award criteria on every transaction or not. So every transaction or cumulative basis. These kind of work, it depends on your level allocation method that would really work with this. Typically most places I know are every transaction. Though I have seen cumulative basis, that basically says in this month you spent this amount of money with us, that means you get this many points. Customer special days, yeah, we've discussed that already in the promotions. I'm not going to go over it again unless I get a question on it. Conflict resolution basis and method. The conflict resolution over here is this basically determines how do you get points, because you might have, say, 3 different plans. You'll always have a basic loyalty plan if you're running a loyalty program. You'll have a basic plan. You might have a special day, what we term a special day plan. Say it's the opening of a new store. Come in today, get 1.5 times loyalty. Whatever that, if that's the draw you want to go with, sure. And then say it's a person's birthday, so if they come in and they shop, maybe they get twice the loyalty that they normally would. So how exactly do you determine who gets what? Is it global? Does it look overall? And then do they get the minimum points, maximum points, sum total of points, so they get all the points, and then do they just get the average or not? That really depends. Once again, it's something that you're going to have to work with the retailers to do. Most retailers I see today are dabbling in loyalty. They're not really going and doing a deep dive and driving it. And having said that, my recommendation is always, if anybody's going to do loyalty, they need to have one person, a dedicated person, driving it. It can't just be a part-time job for someone, because then it's just like, oh, I need to go and do this, and oh, there's something else, and oh, I forgot about it. No, it dies by the wayside. Level management, is it automatic? So for your levels, how do you move between levels? Is it automatic? Is it automatic after so many days? So after 30 days, hey, you've been a good boy for 30 days, you now have enough points to go to gold level. Or is it manual, at which point somebody goes and says, oh, well, according to this report, these people need to move up a level or not. Redemption method, leave it at current level. There is a video online, I believe, of me actually going through and talking about the redemption, about the fallback method, which is quite a bit of math that I do not have time for at the moment. Refund, do you refund loyalty points? Most places I know do not actually refund loyalty points. This is obviously a demo system, which is why I've got it on a pro rate. Otherwise, you can just only refund loyalty points if that's really the way you want to go. Points expiry date override. So can you override the expiry date? So if I arrive at the place and I go, at the store and I say, oh, I've just missed my loyalty points shut off, then they can say, sure, no problem, Mr. Morrison. Here you go. You can still spend your points for another couple of days. You know, so that'll just give me a bit of time, and then afterwards I can actually have a management override where they will go say, okay, you've technically missed the first cutoff and the second cutoff, but because you're a good customer, hey, we like you. We're going to let you go and have some. We're going to let you still have your points. Enable email and SMS notifications. Exchange loyalty data between stores. Typically, I would recommend that because we have had a couple of cases. We have had a couple of cases with the systems we're replacing. In fact, yeah, there's enough time for this story. What happened in one of the stores that we're replacing? What happened was they take pre-orders for games consoles, and it was just before the PlayStation 4 came out. So what happened is a guy took a pre-order. Guy came in a week before PlayStation 4 came out, and he took a pre-order. And when he did that, they suspect he probably worked at the place, or that he knew how the place worked. Or so he either had a friend who worked there, or he worked there. And the guy came in, put in a pre-order for that PlayStation a week before, went off, and then on the day went into the store and said, hi, I'm here for my pre-ordered PlayStation. They said, here you go, congratulations, enjoy your PlayStation. Then he went to the next branch, and he went and he walked and said, hi, I'm here for my PlayStation. And they said, congratulations, here's your PlayStation. Then he went to the next branch, and he did it again, and again, and again, for a total of 6 times, at which point he put down a pre-order for 1 PlayStation and walked away with 6. They never caught him because they suspect what happened by the time he got to the last one is he walked and said, hi, I'm here for my PlayStation, and they said, oh, well, there looks like there's something wrong. It says that this is already redeemed. And he said, oh, you know, that's probably just a friend of mine. Yeah, you know, he might have come and picked that up earlier. All right, thanks so much. Don't worry about it. We'll see you around. So 6 PlayStations, it's pretty expensive to go lose that. So that's why exchanging loyalty data between stores, good idea. Award loyalty points on loyalty tender. I must admit, this is where some of the things that iVend being an international system actually does make me laugh, because yes, that means you get points for spending points. Yeah, yeah. And then to not award points with redemption, obviously the opposite. Do you include tax in your awarding of points or not? Normally I would say yes, because that's most people, because VAT is inclusive. The prices that are generally displayed these days are VAT inclusive, as opposed to VAT exclusive prices, or tax exclusive prices, which you generally see in places that have got general sales tax. So that's something else that people just need to be aware of. And then points allocation mechanism, floor or ceiling. What this means is that, let's say I spend $50 at the store. Okay, so yeah, $50 at the store would be good. Do I go and let's say the minimum amount I need to spend at the store to get points is $100. Do I round up the $50 to go say, you now get $100, you now get $100 worth of points, or do I round it down to say, you did not spend enough with us to get points? So most cases it will be floor. Though if they want to be generous, hey, ceiling works too. And then you can also, there is a customer website that we just don't have time to go and actually run through, but we do actually have a website you can deploy at a customer site where that will deal with loyalty, that people can log into, they can see how things work, they can actually work with it. After that, I've got my points expiry set up. I can have many ways to expire my points. Primary 2 are either sliding or fixed. Sliding being I've got 365 days to spend my points, or fixed, I must spend all my points by the end of the year. Okay, and I can say that says for different customer codes or certain customer groups, they've got different types. Or I can say, hey, all of my bronze level, or let's go say for this one, all my platinum level guys, yeah, they get 365 days to spend their points. But all of my bronze level guys, yeah, they need to spend them before the end of the year. Once again, points or the points and loyalty, it's part of the gamification, which is, I know is a buzzword, and I hate them as much as you guys do probably, but it's all part of this gamification process, and this is the reason that you need somebody running the system, going and actively promoting it, getting it there, going and saying, hey, you know, this promotion didn't work. Why didn't it work? This promotion did work. Why did it work? This promotion sort of worked. Why? Well, what can we learn from that? As well as, hey, if we set up loyalty like this, what happens? Do we get more people in? So basically what you're saying is, guys, you have to get out of bronze to silver, buy more stuff, which is essentially what any loyalty system is. It's another way to get people to buy more stuff. Finally, we get the referral set up, and this is also something that, yep, it's perfectly legal in most countries I know of. But once again, check your local laws and listings as to exactly what you can and can't do with this, because in some case, I do know in some cases they frown upon some of this. But this is a referral setup. And what I mean by this is that if I refer somebody else to this, they can go and to the loyalty program. So let me say I refer my brother to the loyalty program. I get points when he registers, or currency. I can also get points or currency when he I can get points or currency when he goes when he does his first transaction. Beyond that, I can also say after he spends so many points, or earn so much currency, or after he earns so many points or earns so much currency, I can get points or currency. So yes, you can kind of set this up a bit like Amway or Quickster or whatever they're calling themselves at the moment, whatever they're pretending not to be Amway as at the moment. You can set it up like that. Yeah, some people do frown on that. So just, yeah, once again, it's up to the customer how they want it, but be careful. You can get be careful. Things like that do have a bit of a reputation. After that is loyalty special days. So hey, it's the store birthday. Congratulations! Yay! We have a store birthday. Then everybody gets double points. That's where you set up the actual birthday. Then you can also set up your notifications. So this goes and uses the email notifications that we covered. I think it was on Tuesday. So yeah, go back, you can see it there. But you can get things like your loyalty point statement, where it's sent from, what's the email display name, what's your interval, and how's it set up. So you can actually have have more of these if you want. And remember, you can design and do your own email templates to go out. Loyalty levels, because these are also quite important. First off, I do actually want to dive into one of them, so I'm going to take platinum. There is something you do need to be aware of here, is that redemption in multiples of. So that means that I can redeem it only in multiples of, say, 10. Right there, just to be weird, because you could do that as well. But over here, this is also where you will see that we do you can do things like having your minimum values. You will always have a minimum value level of 0. They need to have that's I've had arguments about people with this, but trust me, I've won them. You always have a level of 0. If there's a minimum buy-in amount of 100, you need to spend 100 Rand, and then it activates. That you set up in your loyalty plan. Over here on the level, you always have a level of 0 to actually go and engage, to always pick up, because you might have a buy-in amount of, say, $100, but you will have a but what happens if a person spends that money and falls below that level? Do they fall out of the loyalty plan or not? Typically, no. You don't actually want people to fall out of the loyalty plan. You want people to be in the loyalty plan, and you want people to be engaged with it. If they fall out of the loyalty plan, then it's very difficult to get somebody excited about something they've been kicked out of. So points conversion factor, this would be 4 points to 1 unit of currency, which is, so 4 bronze points to 1 unit of currency. You see over here on platinum, I've got 1 point to 1 unit of currency. So 1 point to 1 rand, whereas this is 4 points to 1 rand, or 4 points to $1, as the case might be wherever you are. You could set this up to be a bit weird. I don't recommend it, which is say 5 points to $2, which adds up to some very weird math in the background. You can do that. Some places like to do that. But my warning about that is you are going to have, is inevitably, the people who buy into programs like that think that they're smarter than the system. And typically you will also get your vocal minority of people who are going to be looking for those points because they're saving those points. Those points are there those are their points. Don't you get in the way of their points. And if you get a cashier who is slightly unsure about how to explain how the points work, the customer is going to run right over them, and is going to go and you're going to get this poor cashier sitting there saying, well, it's 4 points to 2 to this, and carry the designated number, the quotient, and no. Recipe for a bad time. Don't do it. Having said that, having said that, we're not going to stop you if you want to go down that path, but no, just don't and save yourself the trouble. Finally, the redemption percentage, which actually means that you can spend, this is how much of your remaining points you can spend at a certain time. And the entire idea behind this is people really hate it if there's like a little bit of points that's available. It's still in the account because they see it and they think, oh, well, it's just like it's a couple of points and, I'll just go spend them. All right. That's one of the ways, it's one of the psychological tricks to get people to keep buying back into the loyalty program. And this over here is at 70%. This over here is 70%. So effectively, no matter how many points I've got, effectively for my bronze points, I will always have some left over, which just keeps people tied in. As soon as it hits 0, it's very easy for people to go say, well, that's it. Spent the money. I'm out of here. But this way, they're going to say, oh yeah, no, then I've still got a couple of points. I should go back and try and just get those little points out. You'll see over here on platinum, it's set to 100%. Once you got the guy up to a platinum level, he's there. He's committed. He's there for life. So that's fine. You can have as many levels as you want. You do not need to call them bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. You can call them whatever you want. I do know one company, one toy store out here, Toy Kingdom. I think they were doing like Baron, Duke, Marquis, Count, Duke, or whatever. Yeah, they were using like those for levels for their loyalty program, which was pretty cool, considering that they are Toy Kingdom. So next up we actually get down to the main point, which is the loyalty plan. Now this is how you earn points. Okay. What I just described on loyalty levels is how you spend points and what you can spend with them. This is how you actually earn them. You can have multiple rows here. Well, before I get to the rows, you can set your plan type. There's 3. Normal days, special days being the special days that you set up here, and special days for customers being the special days for customers that I've already talked about quite extensively. After that, start date, start time, end date, end time. If there's any questions, raise your hands. Finally, we get down to the actual plan details, and this is where we actually set up how people earn points. I'm going to come back to the exclude and must award checkboxes, because there are things in here that I do want to go and I do need to explain. Well, they'll make more sense once I explain the rest of this. And over here, you can go say, is it for specific customer groups or customer codes? Right, is there a specific customer, or which customer that is, or customer group? Is it for specific levels? So say bronze people earn points, maybe they might earn points quicker than your platinum level people, because your platinum level people, you've already got them to the point where they're at platinum. Where your bronze level people, you want to create the illusion that you're earning more, that at bronze level, you're earning more points. what exactly do you award points on? Is it on specific items? Is it on specific item groups? Is it on specific promotions? Is it on specific layaways? Is it on specific bill values? Is it on specific bill quantities? Please remember that in promotions as well, we also had another spot there where you could earn loyalty points. So, surprise. So these work, yeah, so you can get them to work together. But in this particular case, it's set to bill value. So with this, my criteria value is every bill. This is what it's working on. And then I'm also going to do my transaction criteria, which is every transaction, is it equal to, so every 10th, is it every, say, third transaction, or is it once I've done, say, 4 transactions, then it triggers. Then what do I calculate it on? In this case, it's set to amount because I've selected my criteria group as bill value. I could have it on, say, bill quantity, at which point my calculation basis is quantity. Right there. And then is it for every, and then you'll see on my top one over here, it's for every 100 Rand I spend. It could be for every single item I buy. It could be, it's up to you. And you do once again have the option of saying, once you've spent $100, then you go and you kick into that level. Afterwards, you can even say what tender types it goes to. So is it for, say, you spend cash, you get more loyalty points than if you spend, say, eBucks, or if you spend Bitcoins or Ethereums or whatever it is. Or say if you spend by credit card, you maybe have a slightly different level that you earn at. So that's something you can set there. Then finally, what you earn, points or currency, and then what is the amount of points or currency you actually earn. So that's pretty comprehensive. Who gets what, how, why, how, and when is pretty much what runs in here. You can also set up what we would call an exclude line. And what that means is that however you set up this line, it will not award points for that, specifically not award points for that specific setup. The idea for this is, once again, much like the exclude setup in the promotions where, like I was saying, you have a promotion on all Apple items except the earphones. All right. Then afterwards, you can also do the must award, which basically means it must go through and it must calculate out how much exactly they're going to get. It will even award partial. Well, it won't award parts of points, but it will award. If you don't spend $100 and you spend like $70, it will still award like 7 points. At least in the top setup that I've got here. Yeah, so that is all the stuff that you can set there for that, and you'll see it's really pretty comprehensive. You also get applicable, so which days of the week, times of the days of the week, which applicable stores it's at. So yes, you can do that. And it's all, a part of that is actually, that's why I recommend having somebody running this, because if a store is not doing particularly well and you want to drive traffic towards it, have a loyalty campaign at that store. Okay. Next. Okay, so once you've got all that done, really, there's a lot you can do here. Check your videos, and you'll be able to see a bit more about how it all fits together. Membership groups, you do get buying groups in different places where you'll get, say, for instance, you might buy towards, for me, I've got one where I buy towards a school, and it goes towards a specific school that to go fund them. At one of the places I go shop at, Woolworths, that's the My School program. Otherwise, you can have, say, a family or a company where they've got a group buying program, and whatever they buy, they will get awarded points that goes to the company. Okay, and you can add in your loyalty customers, code, description, number of points you get, and which levels it is active. You can also set up your loyalty cards here. Remember, the loyalty cards are linked to the loyalty setup that we were talking about earlier. So at the moment, I'm not really using this, so that's why they are duplicates of my customers. Otherwise, if I was doing it just a straight loyalty card for my loyalty people and not having them as debtors, then this is where I'd actually manage my loyalty customers. Loyalty adjustment journals, specifically because this is going to happen where people go and, let me actually open one I've done earlier. This is going to happen, people go and they want to transfer points, or they lost points, or they didn't get points. here you can transfer points. Here you can go give people points. You can go change their levels. You can go and adjust them. And there we go. Yeah, here you go. So here's Edward. I've given him 100 points. To take away points, you just say minus. You just put a minus in front of it, and it'll be minus 100 points. If somebody got the wrong points, or you want to transfer points from one account to another, you can go and do the transfer of points, in which case you say, here, John gets 100 points, and we suck that 100 points from Edward. So you do also have import files. You can do to import and then have that pop up in here. The import file template is available in the, it's under Program Files, the Management Console folder under City Access over there. You can find that there. Beyond that, there is what we call loyalty card transfer. This is in case your loyalty card gets stolen and you want to stop that naughty, naughty thief from spending all your loyalty points. You can go there and say, okay, I want a new loyalty card, and they will actually, what happens is it goes and it closes and locks the old loyalty account, and it transfers it to a new account. That is now your new loyalty card. Right, quite nice. And then finally, pre-printed loyalty card, but I talked about this earlier. Okay, so that is loyalty, and we need to get going because the last things we need to do is till management and end of day, and then also some reports, and we should be just about done. Well, we'll see if we can do some passes, but let's see if we have time to get there. Finally, we get around to till management. Now, till management works with what we term master tills, and the entire idea with a master till is a master till is a default setup that you use to describe how people use the actual point of sale. This is related to the setup of the point of sale that we saw, I think it was on Wednesday, with the point of sale over here. You'll see this is how the mechanical side of the point of sale is set up, where it sells, what it sells, what hardware it uses. That gets set here. This over here on the master till side is how people interact with the till. And we've got, this is your default setup that is then used to go generate a till for every day. So you'll see when I open up the till screen, it will actually have a date against it, whereas in the master till screen, it will not. You should typically your master till should not be called master till. This is one of the things about DemoStack. It's called master till here. It shouldn't actually be called master till. It should be called till 1 or something like that, because it's being operated by till 1. Okay, so you will have a master till for each. Essentially, it's a float. That's the words I've been looking for. It is a float that, and this is how you go and you set up that specific float. Now, I've spoken earlier about teams and users. If anyone wants me to go over it again, I will, but this is where you can set who can use this specific till, this specific float. Is it going to be a team, which in case is a group of people using one point of sale, or is it a user, in which case it's one user gets assigned that float and then they manage it. Afterwards, there's the team, then which team's been assigned or which user's been assigned. Can you enable self-banking? The self-banking over here is if you only have one user using the point of sale, one user and one point of sale at the store. Multi-currency float or not? What is the float amount? So what's there? I've actually set a variable float amount, which means that I will have to count in my float every time I issue it, every time I initialize my point of sale. Which store is actually used for your this till is assigned to? Obviously, the till and the store and the POS. I don't know. Pardon, guys, I'm losing all my words. The till and the POS need to be in the same store in order for them to work. If they are not, then they won't. That's simple. What type of which point of sale is it linked to? Is it linked to the specific point of sale? And once again, similar to master till, this should be till 1. This should also be point of sale 1 or whatever it is, or whatever the number is, because each point of sale is linked to a specific specific device, whereas this over here is then linked to that specific point of sale. So specific lane or specific user. And by the way, you do not actually need to have a specific point of sale linked here. You can actually just have it blank, in which case it does mean that it will follow. It depends where the person goes and initializes that this float for the actual day. So you could initialize it on, so one day you might initialize it in lane 12, whereas another day you might initialize the same float in lane 3. Okay. Where are you required to do your counts? We've got 3 options for counting, right? Not required and optional, which effectively means not required because, trust me, nobody is going to go and say, do I want to actually count this? Nope. And then finally mandatory, which is mandatory. So you'll see count required on assign, mandatory, count required on close, optional, count required on remove, optional, account required on finalize. I have as optional as well because I have a demo system, right? I will show you these 3 steps in a minute when we actually get to the day end, which is down here. Warning level, so how full is your cash you're getting? Now this is part of the tipple point that we talked about in the over here with the payment types, typically cash being the one that, there you go, affects tipple amount. That's the checkbox that we'll be using there. So that's obviously, the more cash you get into the system, the more full the till gets. Eventually you can get to a point you cannot actually close the till drawer because there's too much cash in it. Not good, right there. You don't want to do that. You actually want to say maybe about, say, 7,000 Rand. Okay, we now have enough cash. We're going to put up a warning. So put, say, 7,000 there. Then at your warning interval of every, say, 500 bucks beyond that, and then at 10,000, that's it. No, that's it. Everybody out of the pool. Nobody's going and doing anything until this till is cashed out, or at least something has happened to go take money out of the till. So you can set that there as well. Finally, active, and do you want to show the system count or not? Typically the answer being no, no count, because the thing is that if you show the system, if you're a small one-person store, that's fine. You know, one person, one POS, one store kind of setup, that's fine. Because then you want to see it, because then it's sort of like, oh, geez, you know, no, I lost that one little bit of money. But the second you grow to anything larger than that, you don't want people to see what the count is. You want a blind count, because then they have to go say, oh, well, I think I've got about this much money in here. You know, do they actually have the right amount or not? Like I said, you can also have a variance allowed in your count. That actually meaning that if there is, you can say, well, look, if there's 10 bucks missing, and we're not going to put people to the wall over that. Most places I know do not do variances, primarily because, trust me, cashiers will find, hey, every day I can take 10 bucks out of the till and nobody notices, you know, unless there's a variance, in which case I put it back and, hey, no variance. So people will find out. So, so from there, from the master till, what will happen is when we run the end of day, it goes and it creates a till for the next day. So if I open up my till screen, you'll see that it actually has a business date associated with it. As you can see, it's been a while since I've done a day end. That's actually been picked up and is assigned over here, and has created two other master tills, or 2 other floats that I'm not actually using at the moment. The entire idea with this is that on that day, for that specific user, there is actually a till there's a master till created. And you can then go and, so there's a master till created. All of your accounting, all of your sales, all of that is recorded against the master till, is recorded against the till for that day, or the float for that day, as it were. And then at the end, it's all rounded up, it's closed off, and then a new float is generated for the day after. So while I'm here, I do actually need to delete these 2 if I'm going to do a day end. The reason for this, and you might need to do this in real life. So let's say that somebody didn't pitch up for work. They go and they say, oh, hang on, wait a minute. We've now got, for whatever reason, auntie's sick or whoever it is. We are now going to go and I can't come into work today. and you got it assigned to a specific user, well, then that person didn't come into work today. So you might need to come over here and go and delete the float. The float was never used, and you see that's why it's got a status of new. And if you try and delete the float that is status assigned, yeah, you get a nice big error message. So you can delete the ones over here, you can delete because they were never used. So that just leaves me with the one float that has been assigned to my till today, which is this one. So let's just quickly complete this over here. Somebody's gone and bought all of that. Okay. And it's my last sale for the day. I'm going to click complete. From here, I then go to my top little iVend logo. I then go to manage tills. And you'll see, first thing I do want to point out is that this button here and this button over here have precisely very little to do with assigned tills and with available tills. They're not related directly to either side here. This is merely the button where you've got your cache drawers, your two different cache drawers you can have attached to iVend set. Over here, we've got one, this is the one cache drawer, and this has been assigned. We're going to, this has been assigned to this specific till. So this, effectively, this till has been assigned to this specific POS, and we are now using it. I'm now going to go and remove it. Okay, and yes, let's do a count. Okay, so with the remove step being the first in a process of doing your day end. With the remove step, the entire idea with the remove is that I am taking money, is I can take my float out of the system, put it in the safe, go for lunch, and if I want to, I can reassign it and I can continue again, which is what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to go say, let's go say I've got, let's do $5,000. Okay. If I wanted to do a detailed count, I come over here and then I can actually put in, I've got 10 200 Rand, I've got one 200 Rand note, or whatever the breakdown is that you might have here. So you have 5,000 Rand. Okay, it's going to tell me there's a variance in the till. I sure want to continue. Yes. Then it's asking me for a reason, for a comment. And once again, if somebody actually types in something like that and it appears on a report, I would seriously go, that's going to be an issue. So you might need to have a word with them and say, hey, what on earth are you doing? Why is this here? Okay, so now that's been removed. In this particular case, I could go off on lunch. I can do what I want. Other people can come and use my specific point of sale, use the point of sale I was at. And then when I come back from lunch, I log in. It will open up this screen, and I say, okay, I'm going to continue for the afternoon, at which point I select the available till that I've got. I select the cache drawer, and I go and I say, assign. Yes, we do. That will go and assign it to there. And then I say use draw, and that has now been assigned to use this till draw over here. After that, I can carry on in the afternoon. I can click OK, and that will bring me back here, and I continue on with my afternoon's work. Then it comes to the actual end of day. I go to manage tills, and I do the same thing. I go remove. No, in this case, I showed you how the till count works. And you'll see it just moves it over there to available tills. Now I actually want to go close my till, and I can go close. Do I want to count the till? In this case, no, because, yeah. And now it's going and asking me where do I want to go print my report, and I can print it to either a Windows printer or I can just do it to my OPOS, and which is going to be on our thermal printer, which is over here. So there's my X-tape report. And then I can go, and after this I go and I shut down the terminal. If I click OK, it's not actually going to allow me to go anywhere, or if I click cancel, it's just going to log me out of the system. Now there could be a case of, it might be my day end, but somebody else is coming in on shift 2 and they log in, they go and they'll select their till, they assign it like you saw earlier, and they carry on their merry way and do their shift, or I head off home. In this case, there is no day 2. I just log back in because now we need to go and actually shut down the terminal. Okay, and while that's shutting down over here, I do want to go point out that those two transactions that we did are also available from end of day screen here in the management console. So let's say, for instance, somebody had an emergency and they didn't shut down their point of sale, they just ran off. You can come to the management console here and you can go remove till and close till from this side, which means that you can actually go get go and close and end of day that till without having to go get them back in or have them log in and do their day in before they leave. But now that we've, and it works pretty much the same way, now we go over here to finalize till because we have closed it already. And by the way, as you see, because you don't need to make the steps mandatory, you can skip authorizing on some of the steps. It depends on where you want the counting to happen. Some people, or some places I know, they want all the counting to happen. Every penny must be accounted for every single time because that's the way they work. That's the way they roll. That's the business climate they're in. Other places just like, oh yeah, no, well, it'll all sort out in the wash. We'll carry on. Over here, I go and select my master till. I go click OK. It will then tell me how much is here. Now, obviously, I can go hide opening and closing amounts and all the rest of it. I've got these enabled. I'm going to go say that, there we go, so that's 3957. Okay, so let's actually go put 26 over there just to be slightly off. And if I go click OK, it's going to go once again ask me for the variance, otherwise I can click no. There is also a detailed count over here like I discussed earlier. Then I can go back and let's go put that as 27. And then also we did a gift card of, what was that, 74.88. There. Okay, so once all the variances are taken care of, everything's done. You then click OK. You want to proceed? Yes. That master till is now finalized. Now, depending on how many tills you've got, you're going to need to do that for how many point of sales and how many tills how many floats. You're going to need to do that for every one of them. Okay, that's just the way it is. That's the nature of retail. You need to do it, yeah, end of day, you need to do your store counts for all of them. So you could actually have multiple management consoles open and say to one guy, okay, I'll take 1 to 10, you take 11 to 20, another guy takes 21 to 30. Maybe do it that way and do it in parallel. That's up to you. Finally, we've got the end of day. The end of day over here, this will only be run once all of the tills, once it is the actual end of day. So once all of your tills have been counted, once all of your tills have been counted, once they've all been finalized and closed and all the rest of it, then you come over here, run the end of day. If there are any floats that are still open and new, like the ones you saw I deleted earlier, then it would alert you and say you need to delete those. Once you've done that, then you can run this again. It's asking me which is the next day in trading. I'm going to just leave it as the next day. It will typically roll over onto the next day. Most trading operations I see these days are on a 7-day a week. Most stores are on 7 days a week. It's very rare that I do not, well, depends which part of the world, but most stores I see are 7 days a week. You can also choose to optimize your database or not. After this, I click Start. It goes and it thinks hard. We wait for the blue bar to go backwards and forwards, and then the end of day process is complete, and I click OK. And then it's also going to go pop up a printout. There we go. And yeah, this is the actual printout, not just a screenshot of the management console. So transactions by sort, transactions by sale, associate, different payment summaries, your credit card breakdown, all the rest of it, that is all loaded in here. Now, that covers most of the management console. The last bits that we really have to look at, and it looks like we're finishing just in time, is over here. It's your labeling and designers. It's your, so we can do things like creating our label reports. We do have a full label designer that's in here. Well, it's a pretty comprehensive label designer, if I say so myself. There are certain things that you do not, there are certain things that you cannot do with it. I mean, if you do, but then again, that's the nature of most of these things is, but it does actually do pretty much everything. There's very rarely a case that we've ever had to go suggest that somebody uses another label designer. The nice thing is that this is all included and you don't have to pay for it. So obviously if you're using another label designer, well, you might have to pay for it. So code, description, width, height of the label. So width and height, your number of labels per row. So is it on a continuous stream? Which does because you do get those labels that are on just a continuous, it's a roller labels as they print off. What is the gap length? So what is the gap between label to label? Please be aware that can vary. What is the horizontal gap length? That's the difference between the edge of one label and another. Please be aware that can vary. Look, printers are normally pretty good, but with printing, unfortunately, you're typically dealing with they're portions of a millimeter to go and actually get everything aligned properly, particularly on really small labels, and particularly if it's a pre-printed label, which are annoying. Anyway, enough about that, but the big thing is that please be aware, wherever you place this, it is probably going to move slightly. That's just the nature of label printing. Okay, mark length and offset length, so exactly where does it start from the top corner. After this, you can also go put in things like text fields, like I have here. You can also put in pictures. You can put in barcodes, like I have here. With barcodes, we have got multiple symbologies. There was symbology, so there you go, QR code. Basically, the codes that we have in here is everything from coda bar all the way down to what's called hands-in code and pretty much everything else in between. There's a lot of codes in here. Having said that, it's entirely up to you which one you want to go and which one you want to use. I'm not really I have no strong feelings one way or another. You can go set it how you want. You can also go link it through to various fields that are in here. And where is that? There you go, data field. There. So there's various fields we make available for you. Once again, look online, do the video, you'll see exactly how it works. After that, we have the query builder. And look, I am aware, guys, I am very much aware that most people, when it comes to your query building or anything like that, you do not use the drag and drop interface that we have here and the ability to link primary and foreign keys automatically, which will build up your query as you go along. And most people just default instinctively almost to Management Studio, SQL Management Studio, and they build it there. The nice thing is you can build your query there, and then you can paste it here. So that's the nice bit. You do that, and then you can run it, and we can click execute, and it thinks hard, and then from here you can export to Excel. So, all right, for instance, if I wanted to sort by warehouse, I can do that. Yay! The crowd goes wild, and it will give you things, and yeah, so you can build your own reports in here. You can build your own SQL queries in here. There's plenty of things you can build in already. The SQL queries are also used to power the dashboards. I will have more on that when we get to the dashboards. After that, we get to the report designer. Now, the report designer that's built in here, it is completely available. It's free, it's standard in iVend. You are going to need to go and export the reports from the report manager here. I believe I talked about that on Tuesday. You export the report. When you export it, you then save it. You can then come along over here to the report designer, file, open, it thinks hard, and then you go and you select which report you're doing. As you can see, I've done this example a couple of times. I'm going to go daily sale. It exports it as a .irt file. I click open. It's then exported. And yes, I know it looks a bit weird, but trust me, it all makes sense once you dig down into it and actually work with it. And you can adjust the report header, and you can do things like having a preview, which is now going and figuring out. And it also has this nice report checker, which actually goes through and says, warning, page 1, warning, this is not correct, warning, you've got problems in these various places, which is actually kind of nice because I know certainly with some of the other ones that I've dealt with, what happens is they don't give you a warning like that. And I've had a couple of cases where I've been told that reports are completely broken and are inaccurate, and you're just a terrible, terrible person. And I go there and I find out that on page 97 of a 100-page report, no, there's a field that didn't word wrap. You know, and yeah, no, because of that, I'm now a terrible person. Yeah, color me unimpressed on that level. So besides from that, you get to go and avoid things like that by going and using the handy iVend report designer. Right. Okay, you do that, you click OK, it will save it. I'm clicking cancel, so it is not saving it. And then you go back to your report manager and you save it into the system this way. Finally, we have our dashboard designer, and then we're going to look at some of our dashboards as well. I'm going to go to a very utilitarian one, which is the loss prevention dashboard. Click Design Dashboard. It's going to think hard as it loads this up. Once again, Dashboard Designer is preloaded in the system, so you can design all your dashboards through here. Okay, and the data source for all these dashboards, well, depending on which widget you're using, okay, you see it's all different widgets and what's associated with it. The data source is actually the query builder. So the query that gets set there is used to go build these views that you have. As you can see, you've got choropleth maps and scatter charts and geopoint maps and filter elements. Yes, all of those things there, they're there. You can use them. You can also go to set timer, where you can actually set, and this is the difference between a report and a dashboard for those of you who might not have known, is a dashboard typically actually shows you what's going on, as opposed to a report which shows you just what happened. So with this, with the timer, you can actually set, okay, it doesn't like that when I do that again. So you can actually set your timer for each of the, yeah, red doesn't like that. You can set a timer for each of the widgets to go refresh every, say, 30 seconds, at which point you just leave the dashboard open on your machine. All right, okay, right, dashboards. And the reason the loss prevention dashboard has got nothing on my screen at the moment is because I've just done a day end, which means that it's now empty. Just going to log in. And once I logged in, you'll go and you'll see I'll do a sale, and I'll refresh this and you can see some things pop up. While we're waiting for that to go and load up, I can also show you what some of the fancier dashboards look like, such as my finance view. Loyalty finance view dashboard. This one over here has got things such as drill downs. Yes, you can have drill downs on the dashboards, and you can go see things like total revenue share and charts and graphs, and it's all very shiny. And if you're doing a demo, sales loves to see it because it's shiny and colorful, and those kind of things sell systems. Right. Okay, then we log in. We get to go see my bright and shiny system. Okay, at this point it's asking me to clock in on my time clock. Because I have a variable float, it's asking me to go and put my float amount in. I'm going to go say, let's put $2,000. Okay, yes, because there was a variance. I have not enforced, obviously, the till counts and the rest of it. No. And here we go, it logs in. And there's the customer display that popped up in the background. Okay, and then if I scan something in, let's just quickly scan that in and do a sale. I'm scanning exception. Okay, let me just rerun this. Woo. Once again, I've done horrible things to this thing and it's now complaining. I'll rerun the loss prevention report so you guys can see what it actually says. Actually, on this point, it actually brings me to something else that we can have a look at, which is our iVend dashboard report viewer, which you can also come standard installed with your DemoStack. I'm just going to go and let me see if it'll let me in. It's loss prevention. Show. It may well go and say that I've been logged out too long. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to go sign in again. You can deploy this. This is not a portal we own. It's we give you the software. You deploy it. Once it's deployed, you can go and adjust it how you want. You can view reports over here as well as your dashboards. I obviously am going to be showing you the dashboard. So if I go to loss prevention, I click show. Now, obviously, I have not set up the timers on loss prevention, but there is the item scanning exception where I actually type the item number in as opposed to scanning it. There's my till, that is open, how much is in there, what's the tipple amount, all the rest of it is available here. And if I go over here, okay, then I can also go, I'll just click show again and it will probably refresh, and there I've done a void sale. So remember, you can put the timers in for this. And that actually goes and brings us up to 12 o'clock at my time, which I'm sure is going to be multiple times across the globe as for all of you guys. So I'm going to go and say that that's pretty much the end of what I had to show you for iVend. That we've really got things, we have most of the things covered. Well, in fact, we've got everything covered that I wanted to. Unless there's any questions or anything about that you want to know about. Hello? Okay, guys, if there is no questions, there is a question. There is indeed a question. How do we get the videos? The videos will be uploaded online to go, you should actually probably be sent a link to them. Otherwise, for the City Access Knowledge Portal question videos, these are available in your partner resource kit, or they should be available over here. And you can open up and load these and run them through here. There's also the implementation consultants content, which has got your recommended videos for you to go through. Okay. I would also recommend having a look at the knowledge base and having a look at the e-learning when you're writing the exam. Okay, your DemoStack license is something you are going to need to, okay, so a DemoStack license, typically you can email licenses@cityaccess.com. They will then ask them, can I please get a new DemoStack license? Otherwise, what you can do, and if you really want to, which is actually probably easier, is you just come along to iVend DemoStack, you click download, it sends you a new DemoStack license that's valid, I think, for 180 days, and then you just put that one in. You can download a new DemoStack license every 30 days. So if you download if you click the download button on DemoStack within the next 30 days, so if you do one download and then you click the download, say 5 days later, it will just download the DemoStack. That's it. Okay. Also, I would recommend just going through the e-learning, and you can go see how everything is set up and configured through there. I do recommend going through through as many of these as you can. Well, like I've said all the way through, this is just meant to really supplement the videos and tie things together. All right. Any other questions? Okay. All right, guys. I'd like to say thank you very much. We have got, thank you very much for going and listening to me waffle on about iVend for this past week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's at least been mildly entertaining, if nothing else. I hope that you have a good weekend and a good week next week, and I will chat to you soon. Like I said, everything will be up. I'm sure you guys will be able to get hold of your local product experts, or if I am your local product expert, you will get hold of me. And then I'm sure that if there's any questions you have, you can ask them that, and otherwise ask me, or they'll be able to ask me, or whatever it is. I'm sure we will be in touch again soon. Thank you so much, guys. Chat soon, and see you around on the City Access Knowledge Portal forums. Cheers. Bye.